Sean, the next topic I want to discuss with you is regarding working moms. You are a mother and you are a woman in leadership. So here's the question for you. How do we include women and that are moms and help them balance their time?
That was really a good question to me, and I feel happy to answer that. Being a mom by itself is an art. And mom here, I say, there is a pun in the word. Mom is not only a mother, but also master of multitasking. Yes. On one hand, a woman, I would say, should practice the art of being a mom right from the beginning so that she is easily able to traverse the different stages of her life, and she does not get any suspense at that point in time. She proactively prepares herself in handling the situation. On the other hand, organizations like Workline have definitely been a trendsetter in giving the operational independence for the mother and mom workers at Workline, to give that operational independence, and at the same time maintaining the deliveries at right point in time was not easy for Workline as well. But striking out the right balance between the women workers and the organization definitely will make moms as great leaders for the next gen.
It's a great one. So I have another, I think it's a more personal take on this question. So how much of your mom rules do you apply to your work and your team?
I do apply the mom aspects everywhere, right from the beginning of the day till the end of the day, throughout wherever I am working with the team. It's always mom that is master of multitasking.
Definitely. I think that's a great one. You've given us a lot of interesting tidbits to think about in this conversation. Keeping on the track of motherhood and being a professional and a leader at that, how do you balance your time? And if you think you have had a sacrifice either personally or professionally at any stage, what would that be?
Wow. Yes, a good question. Sharing mind space in human race had always been there, irrespective of gender for that matter. It has always been there. And sharing, for example, if there is a new family member in a family, generally some of the family members have some resistance, say the elder child. They have resistance in the beginning, but later point in time, as and when the life goes on, they start accommodating the new member, and the life becomes enjoyable, completely enjoyable together. So instead of spinning two wheels of personal life, professional life, no, toggling between these two, how much we will toggle? I instead made work as one more family member in my spinning wheel. That's the only thing I did. Yes, that's the only thing I did. And that really helped me make my family realize that, yes, that is one more family member which we are supposed to adjust, accommodate, enjoy, and then live the journey along with. The life is spinning, the wheel is spinning, and I'm with Workline, and it's my 5th year now. I guess this has really helped me balance both personal and professional life. As far as the word sacrifice is concerned, I would say sacrifice is a word that is told when I like something, I do something else. Whereas everything is part and parcel of my life here in my spinning wheel. Nowhere, no sacrifice. It's I do for my family member, I get it back from them. That's it.
That's an interesting take, because the way you have made your professional life, your personal life, and so it's a balancing act. So it comes back to being the mom, and so I love the way that you have approached this, and that there is no real sacrifice. It's just another piece of the puzzle that you're looking to balance.
Yes.
Thank you for that, and I hope our viewers also take away from this. It's a different way of thinking, because most everybody looks at it as a personal life and a professional life, but looking at them as just another piece or part of the puzzle that is my life, and handling all of them is a great approach to handling things. Thank you for that. So moving on to some very serious questions here. What I want to ask you actually is, what is the best way to navigate the conversation of salary and the scope of work as a female leader? Or actually as just a female, gender?
Interesting. Salary negotiation had never been my cup of coffee, definitely. What I value, cherish, is always the human bond that I work with the leaders or mentors, and the time that I spend with them, I cherish that as most valuable than the band that is going to be ranked for me in my pay structure. Absolutely. And I had been fortunate enough to have worked in organizations and with eminent leaders in the industry who have really identified my potential and rightly scaled me till date. I have no worries till now. Yes.
Fabulous. Because an interesting statistic that I've read is more than 80% of the people leave their work not for any other reason other than the people that they work with, right? So if you work around the people that you work with, then salary really doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It is only a secondary thing because you enjoy the work you do, you're stimulated in that environment. So it's a good one to think about, because when you're starting off in your career, most of us, the focus is on the salary, because you're young, you're in your 20s, and it's the first amount of money that you see. What can I spend on?
You get the smell of that money.
So when did that shift? Was there a shift in you, or were you always that way, that the work mattered more than the scope of work mattered more than salary, or how did they go hand in hand for you?
Yes, when I was selected in off campus in my first organization, the salary package was like not up to the mark of other industrial standards, but definitely my father gave me one advice when I joined that organization. He said, don't expect money right in the beginning. Prove yourself. Let the company come back to you stating, come on madam, tell me what is your check. We will just sign it. Prove your worth, get the check, come out. And I believe I have done that to my father. That's the promise I have kept to him.
Absolutely fabulous. So for all the youngsters who are listening out there, hope you take this away as well. Sometimes it's about the work and not about the paycheck. So that leads me to another very interesting and more complex question, I think. What do you think about leading men? Have you led men in your roles, and have you faced any resistance, or what kind of situations have you faced in being a leader for men?
Definitely, all women lead men. No doubt about it. It's a universal truth. Yes, I have led men. And coming back to the question, just taking a pause on your question, which speaks about resistance, would like to thank here, taking this arena, to all the men who have assisted me for whatever I am today. So the first man whom I would like to thank is my father. Without him and his systematic approach in defense, I would not have been what I am today, and my managerial capabilities would not have been whatever it is today. And the second man whom I would like to definitely thank, and who is still the backbone of me, is my soul, my husband. Last but not the least, all my eminent leaders, mentors, and work-line men who have really supported me throughout the journey in making me a successful female leader today. So, thanking all these people who have assisted me, let me tell about resistance. I doubly thank the men who have resisted me, who have shown me resistance, because you are the one who has exponentially increased the persistence in me. I doubly thank you, and you made me explore what is darkness, yes, and that helped me discover the inner power of light that I already possess.
That was a very interesting answer, especially the men who resisted you. So it is an interesting point that you made there, that they force you to look inside, explore the light in you and the leadership in you, and to form, I guess, discover a part of you that you never thought you had, or it was, I guess, lying dormant that came out. So for all our viewers out there, I think it's another great takeaway. This show is just full of takeaways, in my opinion. But when you're pushed or when you face resistance, take this opportunity, look inside, look and see what is it that you dislike and what is it that you want to do about it, and how do you want to handle it, instead of just being reactive. So thank you for that point. It was a very poignant moment in our conversation, I think. Now for the last question for the day. I think it's a very broad question that I'm coming to you with. So here's what I have for you. So how do you push for systemic change in ideas that are new and that are not popular?
Whenever the ideas are being posed in any arena, even if it is personal life or in professional life for that matter, definitely there will be resistance from few of them. Yes, as I said before, that resistance definitely makes me investigate what are the loopholes that are there in my idea, which I need to still think upon, first thing. Second thing, whenever I present the idea or when we take new ideas, I feel we must take to all stakeholders at all levels, so that we take the feedback at each level and then incorporate that so that that idea becomes popular. Pushing a new idea to make it popular is to take feedback. Take feedback always. Number two, as much as possible, make that idea healthy so that the conversations that you take, put on the table along with the other people, make it as healthy as possible so that it is being welcomed in the future, because the idea is presented not to gratify ourselves that it's my idea. It is for the goodness of something that we are taking towards. Number two. Number three, if you really want the idea to work, just fold your shirts, get into action by yourself first. You must be the first volunteer, and I do it.
That was a great one. I love the idea, and actually the point where you made about if you are posing the idea, ready to be roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty, because a lot of people think idea is about idea and somebody else is going to execute. Nobody can see your vision like you do. So I have some key takeaways from this lovely conversation we had today. One is mom. It is forever going to stay with me, the master of multitasking. I loved your power, and I think you brought it back with your, rethink that whole thing. Power is all about leadership, listening, rethinking, reimagining how and what you want it to be. So hope our viewers also enjoyed this lovely conversation we had. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Soumya, for your valuable time. Thank you, Workline, for giving me this great opportunity in expressing and bringing lights on me to showcase who I am to the industry. Thank you.
Absolutely. And until the next episode, goodbye for today.
Bye.